Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, a watch that is a dream watch in name and a dream watch in fact. From Bethune, launched in 2009, this is the Dream Watch 3. A Bethune Dream Watch is what the succession of supercars like the F40, the F50, the Enzo, the LaFerrari, the F80 are at Ferrari. Not just an exotic from a company that makes them, but the exotic, the absolute apex of technology, expense, exclusivity, and refinement. And this watch is all of those things. Only 19 were ever made with the platinum case and the blue dial you see here. Only 4 more were made with a black dial and a platinum case. That's right, 23 pieces made with a completely unique dial and case. They were not counting costs. So the watch is an unusual one from a sizing standpoint. And I'm going to just say this right here. Don't listen to the numbers, look at it on my wrist. So across the wrist, it's 42.9. It's really thin at 11.9 millimeters thick. And then it's 49.4 from lug to lug. But note, one of these lugs is hinged. The other one is spring-loaded and floating, but then it also has a hinged strap attached to it. So that's quite a bit of articulation. The articulation meaning it fits well, but I'm also going to say this. If you're familiar with the 1970s Omega Seamaster 600 Ploprof, the Plongeur Professionnel, this wears like that in that it looks huge and weird until you get it on the wrist. Then it seems to shrink, and it really does. So you can see on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, the watch wears well, easily. It's flat. It will fit underneath a dress cuff. Looking down the barrel, it's actually nowhere near the edge of my wrist. And even over the top, which exaggerates the width of the watch, and I'm pulling the strap tight, the lugs don't go over the edge of my wrist. So you could wear this on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. It is weighty, being all platinum. And so, taking a look at the strap, it's a very modern style of Bethune strap with a large rectangular scale gaiter on the top and round scale on the bottom. It costs a few $100s more than putting calf on the bottom, but a watch like this deserves the best. We've got a sheer cut profile that's lacquered for refinement, a monotone stitch, we've got a semi-gloss finish, and then a surprisingly conventional pin buckle here. On Bethune watches, the buckles normally match the character of the watch. Well, here we have a very orthodox buckle that's media blasted and polished, and then a wildly unorthodox case. You can see we have these perforations that go all the way through, and this is a design by Denis Flageolet, the co-founder and lead watchmaker at Bethune, and his co-founding partner David Zanetta, a collector and vintage dealer who was more focused on the aesthetics of the watch. So this draws from table clocks, pocket watches, pendant watches, Art Deco, Egyptian Revival, all of those things going into the design of the timepiece. The case is relatively simple, and you can see it's actually monoblock with no separate bezel and mid-case, so it's seamless when viewed from the top. Take a quick look at the crown. There's 2 different types of knurling and drilling, but no branding, and that's because Denis and David were classicists and referring to the pocket watch era when a branded crown would have been unusual. The crown is a screw down, though not to make the watch super water resistant, more to prevent the accidental interaction of the lug with the crown. Take a look at these tiers on the edge of the flexible part of the lug right here. Take a look at those tiers. They're satinated, they're relatively sharp cut, and I have a good example. Hang on. Example of how that hinge lug is normally done on the DBD and the DBS. You could see here that it's not actually the same design because everything on the Dream Watch is designed to express parallel design philosophy. So you have this tiered sort of serration with satin, and then if you look at the base of the dial, you can see it again. Think the top of the Chrysler building and you get a good sense of what I'm talking about. So really fascinating and exhaustive nuances, and you can just keep looking and looking and looking. If you actually look on the bottom, you can see the famous ogival lug style present on almost all Bethune watches, and you could miss it if you don't check the bottom of the watch. It doesn't appear to be part of the design scheme until you roll the watch over. You can see the power reserve indicator here, the power reserve via the twin barrels. 5 days, quite robust. And then you can see a lot of the advertising, and how glad are you that they didn't put all this on the dial? So yes, it does have a tourbillon that includes titanium and silicon. It does beat at 36,000 vibrations per hour, 10 beats per second, or 5 hertz. It does feature Bethune's patented hairspring curve and, yes, their own patented balance. Also, I want to express that this watch may be unique. Now, 19 were made with the blue dial and the platinum case, but it's not that simple. I've seen other examples, and in one instance, the handset featured both silver hands with a sort of matte finish, not this combination of polish and blued steel. So on a hand basis, this is a little bit distinct. Also, this watch was upgraded from the original oscillator to the most modern titanium and white gold balance, and I have not seen another example like it, which means this watch may be completely unique. Even among the 23, it stands out as a rarity. The dial is unique in that, well, it's made entirely in-house, and you can see that it's designed specifically for this model. Think about a company going out and designing a dial, tooling up to make that dial, designing a very complex case, tooling up to make that case, and then only making 23 of them. Most brands focus on saving money. At Bethune, they seem to be great at spending it on the client's behalf. It makes no economic sense, but it's wonderful for it. This is what you build when you dream about watches. What you build when you dream about money is maybe like a Daytona. Now, taking a look at the dial here, it is nuanced. Looking outboard, we have this sort of frosted finish. All of this is fire blued titanium. We have a connect the dots sort of motif that links the polished cabochon. These little hour markers are polished titanium. We have those distinctive hands, which are built up from 2 pieces. And then you can see inboard, we have this satin finished serration that acts as the minutes track. You'll find it again inside the tourbillon well. The center dial uses microlight, which is a reductive lathe guilloche, but it's designed to be more modern than, say, a Breguet rosette. So Denis created this microlight so he could have a high-quality lathe-cut guilloche, but something that matched his avant-garde watches. Well, let's count the patents here. We have the patented lug system. We have the patented balance, which is titanium and white gold. Twin self-adjusting barrels, patented. Though it's a manual wind watch, you cannot accidentally overwind it. The tourbillon architecture itself is patented. The hairspring curve, which is shaped by hand at Bethune, that is patented. You can see Bethune's proprietary silicon escape wheel, designed to reduce friction, reduce the need for lubrication, and reduce the overall mass. And this tourbillon makes 30-second circuits, so it makes a full circle once every 30 seconds, not the conventional 60 on a regular tourbillon. You can also see the black polished metal underneath, designed to reflect more light through the tourbillon assembly. This is the world's lightest tourbillon, built up of 63 parts in, yes, titanium, white gold, and silicon. Nevertheless, it has a mass of only 0.18 gram, 18 hundredths of a gram. So being the world's lightest tourbillon, you expect some benefit, and there is. At Bethune, these tourbillon regulators are regulated to keep time to better than 1 second a day, and that will be generally about 1/2 a second gained per day. So it is a chronometrically relevant tourbillon, not just a beautiful one. Why the balance? Why 10 balance wheels from Bethune? Well, they have at least 10. The idea is to maximize the total percentage of mass in the rim, reduce the impact of temperature change on timing, and then also try to minimize the effect of aerodynamic drag on timing. And the latest balance wheel does that. With this handset and that balance wheel, I have a feeling this may be a completely unique Bethune Dreamwatch 3. And it just came back from factory service, so you have years of peace of mind ahead of you. This is a dream watch, 30 meters water resistant, so don't swim with it, but in every other regard, how could you ever take it off? Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.